Look, Allah, after a long period, Musa is back to his mother. Allah tells him, Musa, وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي. Have I not casted upon you the cloak and the veil of my love, of my caring, and of my protection? Musa, do you not remember that when it was your mother against the king and the entire kingdom of Fir'aun, I stood by your mother? Musa, do you not remember when you were in that box in the river in the Nile, and you could have gone down the water in the split of a second and died? Do you not remember that I had washed you to the banks of the river? فَلْيُلْقِهِ الْيَمُّ بِالسَّاحِلِ. Do you not remember that I had washed you to the banks of the river? And when Fir'aun had picked you up and he wanted to slaughter you and kill you, like he had killed every other son from your tribe, do you not remember that I had inclined his heart to let you live and make you the exception? لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ. His wife told him in Surah Al-Qasas, عَسَىٰ أَن يَنْفَعَنَا أَوْ نَتَّخِذَهُ وَلَدًا. Do you not remember that I had made you the exception and I have killed every other son that came my way? And so in Surah Taha, Allah tells Musa now, because he's grown, he wants to remind him what his mother had gone through. وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي. Have I not showered you? Have I not covered you with, and have I not casted upon you the cloak and the veil of my love? Al-Mahabbah is a very special type of love. It's different from the romantic human love. Ashq would probably be the word linguistically used to define love between a wife and husband, or that should be between a wife and husband. وَأَلْغَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِّنِّي وَلِتُسْنَعَ عَلَىٰ عَيْنِي. Do you not remember that I had let you live in the house of Fir'aun himself, and I gave you a life in his house better than the one you would have had at your mother's house? And mind you, on top of your mother, there's another female in your life who you should give a lot of credit to. And that's your own little sister. Because إِذْ تَمْشِي أُخْتُكَ. I remember when your sister had taken a walk, and she went to the palace of Fir'aun, and she stood in front of all these big names, powerful, famous people, and she said, هَلْ أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى مَنْ يَكْفُلُهُ. Should I tell you, sir, should I tell you someone who I think would be able to take care of this kid? That's her brother. And they said, who? And she told them the name of her mother, thus the mother of Musa alayhi salam. And Musa was then returned back to his mother, because the promise in Surah Al-Qasas was, إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And so when this had happened, فَرَجَعْنَاكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ. Musa, do you not remember that I had returned you back home to your mother? Why did I do this? كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا. Because I wanted your mother's eyes to be refreshed all over again by seeing you. When you don't see someone that is very dear and near to your heart for so long, the eyes of your heart become blind. And so I did this, Musa, I have returned you back home. Please, let's stop talking. I have returned you back home, so that your eyes, so the eyes of your mother may be refreshed all over again. Number one, وَلَا تَحْزَنْ. And so that also your mother may never be sad again. Because all these times you were gone, your mother was sad. Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam and Sayyidina Ibrahim Khalil Rahman. You know this very well. Surah As-Safat. When Ibrahim alayhi salam came to his son Ismail alayhi salam, and he told him about the dream that he's had. يَا بُنَيَّ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانْظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى. Son, let me just tell it to you like it is. I had a dream, basically I was cutting you up. I'm going to take a knife, cut your neck off. I know it's very violent the way I'm saying it, but it is the way it is. He said, son, what do you suppose I do? The dream that I have and the command that I have from Allah is that I cut you up. And Ismail alayhi salam told him, Ya abat if'al ma tu'mar, satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. And look, because Ibrahim alayhi salam called his son Ya Bunayya, it's only common sense that Ismail responds by saying Ya abati. So the Shaykh was speaking about waalidka iyo ilmaha isfahanlaan ka dhexaysa. Qofka waxaad ku sheegtay baa ka soo baxsama. Ya bunayya lagu yiri, ya abati buu ku celiyay. Anyways, make a long story short. Ismail alayhi salam is laying on the ground, sideways. فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَ وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينِ. and Ibrahim alayhi salam standing on top of him with a knife. This is in a book written by a Pakistani sheikh by the name Sheikh Uthman Taqi. The book's called Al-Dhahiyya al-Qurbani. Whoever wants to find out where this story came from. I'm not sure if it's authentic, but I think there's wisdom in it. He says when Ismail was on the ground, laying sideways, and Ibrahim had the knife with him, about to cut him open, Ismail, the son, told the father Ibrahim alayhi salam 3 things. And I want you to listen to these 3 things very carefully. Number 1, Ismail is saying this, he's about to die in a second. He said, Father, before you put the knife on me, face me down, so that my eyes would not see your eyes. Because I am still your son, and you are still my father. I still have feelings for you, and you still have feelings for me as a son and a father. Yet you have to obey Allah and go and abide by with which you have been told, so that we don't mess this up. Father, turn my face down, so that my eyes as a son does not see your eyes as my father. Number 1. Look at this. This man's about to die. Number 2, he said, my father, number 1, right? Number 2, he said, my father, when you put the knife on me and you start cutting me, I'm going to shake, I'm going to kick, and I'm going to tremble. I want you to know from now on that it's not because I want to disrespect you, it's because I am a human being, and this is how human beings deal with pain. Look at this. He's about to die, worried about disrespecting his father. Father, when you see me shake and when you see me kick and tremble, don't think I'm escaping away from you, nor am I disrespecting you. I am a human being. I have feelings like everybody else, and I am hurt. Number 3. He said, Father, when you go back home tonight, my mother is going to ask you to give her something that would remind her of me. He was wearing a white shirt, Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. He said, the only thing that I know my mother is going to ask you for is my shirt, because it's the only thing that I have. Do me a favor. As you're cutting me up, hold me as tight as you possibly can, so that not a single drop of blood goes on my shirt. Because the last thing I would want my mother to see, on top of losing me, is the smell and the sight of the blood of her own son, Ismail alayhi salam. I don't want my mother to see my blood long after I am gone. Look at what he's thinking about. I'll end it with 2 poems, because I know we've been here for a little bit and there are good things coming up, inshallah. 2 things, very good. 2 poems actually. One is a poem by Mahmoud Darwish, a Palestinian poet, who I think passed away, I'm not sure. He wrote a poem to his country. He was Palestinian. He couldn't go back home to the land where he was born. His father was born, his mother was born, his grandparents were born. He used to roam around the world because he came from an occupied place. And so one day he said, I couldn't sleep. And the love that I had for my country, he said, was so overwhelming that I decided to write a poem. You know, it's kind of sad that that man writes a poem for a lost country when he had none. But you and I had an amazing country, and all of us here, from the least religious to the most religious, is responsible for the destruction of Somalia. Each and every one of us here, myself included. So he said, I couldn't sleep. So he said, I've decided to write a poem for my country. He said, what is the most beautiful thing in this universe that I could use as a metaphor to me and my country? He said, a mother. So the poem is called إِلَى خُبْزِ أُمِّي. He uses the mother, but he's actually talking about his country. Look at the words. Now, I'm not going to say I don't care about the country. It's a Muslim country, but I care about the mother in it. Right? He says, أَحِنُّ إِلَى خُبْزِ أُمِّي. He says, I long for my mother's bread. وَقَهْوَةِ أُمِّي. I long for, I miss my mother's coffee. وَلَمْسَةِ أُمِّي. I long for my mother's touch. And he goes on and on and on. He says, خذيني يا أمي إذا عدت يوما وشاح لحبك. Oh, my mother. He's talking about his country, but I'll use it as a mother. Oh, my mother, if I should come back one day, use me as the veil to cover your eyelashes. وغطي أضاني بعشب تعمد على طهر كعبك. And oh, my mother, if I should pass away before I go, before I come back, if I should die far away from you and I become bones, do me a favor. Put on top of my grave grass that your beautiful and blessed feet had stepped on. وشدي وفاقي بخصلة شعر وبخيط يلوح في ذيل ثوبك. And oh, my mother, if I come back one day and I get to have the honor of being in your presence, oh mother, so that we may never be separated again, hold us together with a lock from your hair. Put your finger to your hair, stick out the longest piece, and use that as a string to tie you and I together so that we may never be separated. But if that's not possible, because you have grown old, because you have no hair, because you're 95 years old, and you have nothing to use from your body to tie us together, وَبِخَيْطٍ يُلَوَّحْ فِي ذَيْلِ ثَوْبِكَ. The dress that you're wearing, the back, that thread that's basically hanging from there, that shouldn't be there, take that off and use that to tie us together. خُذِينِي يَا أُمِّي إِذَا رَجَعْتُ يَوْمًا. Oh, my mother, use me if I should come back one day. وَغُودًا بِتَنُّورِ نَارِكَ. Use me as the wood to feed your fire. Look at the importance. I wish I could write stuff like that for my mother. Finally, I would say this in Somali because this thing is in Somali. عيد الفطر waxay ahayd September 10-keedii ma xasuustaa Columbus ayaan joognay markaasaan Ingiriiska ka imid meeshii salaadan subaxii tagnay waa la buuxisaan oo kale loo fadhiyay takbiirta iyo khayr iyo wanaag oo dhan baa la qaadayay markaasaa waxaa halkaas oo kale iiga muuqday marka meeshan ku tagnay meel yar oo kubadda lagu ciyaaray ahayd ragga iyo dumarku waa is arki karaan meel dumarka aafafkiisa laymanka dumarka meesha ugu soo horeysa waxaan ku arkay gabar yar hooyo yar markaan si u fiiriyey hooyada hadday u badato si daranaysan gaarin baa jeclaa 4 ilmood oo yar ayay wadatay 4 wiil aan ku qiyaasay kan ugu weyn 6 sano inuu jiray markaasaa 4tii waa un keligeed 4tii midba halkaas u ordaa midna halkaas u ordaa midna halkaas u ordaa midna halkaas u ordaa markaasaa miskiinta kan markaa cayr 3 kale halkan u carara 3 markay ka daba carartana kaasaa halkaa u carara mid yar oo laba dhowr bilood jira markay caana istraad aad siisid kuwa kala sida mooryaanta dadka ku yaaca بالبابزة والله ولم مقصود لأن أمه يا كشف وحلقيها بوداتك قبيلين وأنا عارف اليوم مدمد وقال لك يا ما حد وصل لسعود ماشي بس عارف اليوم أزوج كوين طب يقول شال كي يقول لك إنه يا أم المربى أقابل تموي دي سامر بعدها بدنا قابل مركزان انت لا غيرودي gabadhaas hooyadaas yarta ah hadana wajigeedaas wallahi dib yar inaan ka arag farxad ma ku noosho aniga haduu aan la waa horan darbiyo burburina gurigan tagay markaas waxaan eray maanta waxa aan soo arkay waa inaan qoraal bal wax aan ka qoraa taxiyad hal gabayl uu yaqaan kama soo jeedo bafaysa من أفضل وعكسه جدا هو إيه أصله رمي غفر بالبراية بره وقول فتية واحد أنا بكم هذا وبعد ذلك يا مال المساجد كريم ده وهيري هذا رتكت البحر وهيري ولا مساجد كحماية ولاد كحماية كتاعه من آخر نهاية وأقول عينك كمود أقول عينك كمود ورنيك بعلم البناء بره البراية بقول فرق anyways gurigaan tagay markaastaa waxaan idhi hooyo oo laga farxiyaayay waa saldhigga farxadda nolosha ceelka wanaagga iyo naxariista iyo xubbiga iyo kalgacaylka uu ka soo burqadana waa hooyo oo laga dhowlacay marka laga dhowlacaya markaas waxaa yahay wax qor maxamed taxdan quraan marka insha Allah idin qaybsan taasna ay ugu dambayso muhiimadana waxaa weeye luqadaha kale la bartaa wanaag laakiin sadaqankii luqada Soomaaliyeed laga tago marna ma ay ah ninkii fiisa ka tago mid kale ma dalo wardiyo ogow taas weeye marka gabayga yaraa inaan gabadhay kale kala loo aqaan plan idin akhriyo waxaan iri hooyay farxadaadan faydus ku raadshaa inta aan fayoobahay fasiraada aan karo faqara aad ku amaantiyo fasalada jacaylka ebedkay ma faaraqo marka arku faydaho falaaraha dabayshiya dadku ay farxanayaan anaa kuu foojignaano kugu filan iyo ogow habeenkaad ifoolatay fadhi aad ka caagtay qosol aad ka fiigtay feeruhu ku ololayn ilantii fiqkaa tiri fatahaadda dhiiggii dhaaxan ka faaloon hooyay farxadaadan xaddigaha ka fiirshaa fandhaal wacan ku doonaa inaan kuu fudaydo fagaaraha ka dheelmado sanku neefle ficilkii kaaga filnaya iyo ogow ilaa maa aan fawqa dahab faransiyo dulsado ilaa maa aan faraaca diamond ugu foodhaqo ilaa maa aan faafaxdhuun gogol cas kugu fidiyo allow geeri kaa fogeen markii aan ku fiirsho quruxdaada faraheed allow maxaan la fajacaa beelihii firdowsana eebow fataaxow nabad ay ku fooftaa farxad ay ku dheeshaa raaxo ay ku furataa canab ay ku fiiqdaa jazaakum allahu khayran wasalaamu allahu calaykum waraxmatullahi wabarakatu